Good morning. Today on Rick's Reloading Bench, I'm going to walk you through on how to reload for the 357 Magnum cartridge. Now, the 357 Magnum was first introduced by Smith & Wesson in 1934, and a lot of the early design of it is credited to Elmer Keith. The 357 Magnum is an outstanding handgun and rifle cartridge, and it is, it's the one that started the Magnum era of handgun ammunition. So it's got a little notoriety that goes with it. And what I'll do is I'll take you through each step of the reloading process, and with that said, let's get to it. Okay, first step is we will lubricate all of the casings using my homemade case lube. Alright, next step is to size and decap the casings. Alright, I've sized and decapped the first 35, so the last 5 I'll show you how it's done. We've got our sizing decapping die in place. We take the casing, run it through, and it decaps it. Nothing special or fancy about this. Right, that takes care of that operation. Alright, the next step is to uniform the primer pockets, and this is necessary in order to ensure a flat seating between the primer and the primer pocket. Now, I've already done the first 35, so I'll do the last 5 to show you how it's done. That shows you that it's relatively clean, but most important, it's got a flat face now. So that takes care of that. Now we'll go on to the next step. Alright, the next step is to flare out slightly the ends of the casings. This will aid in the bullet seating. Now, I'd like to mention that the dies that I use are RCBS carbide dies. They work for both the 38 Special and the 357 Magnum. So one thing you have to be aware of is when you want to flare and seat the bullet for a 357 Magnum, you have to insert the spacer like that, and then screw it in. If you don't, you'll wind up with the end of your 357 casing looking like a trumpet. So, go ahead and put this in. Just gives it a slight flare. Alright, now we've got them all flared. Next step is to put in the primers. The primers we will be using will be CCI small pistol primers number 500. There always seems to be one that doesn't want to go with the program. Right, I'll do the first 5. So that you can see how they're seated. Again, nothing magical about this. I inspect every single one each time I do it. And the rest of the 40 casings I'll do offline. Alright, we've concluded seating all of the primers in the casings, and the next step that we will take care of is throwing the charges in each one. Alright, the powder that we'll be using to throw our charges is IMR SR 7625, and we'll be throwing around 7 grains. I've got the scale set up, it's been balanced, now I've got it set for 7 grains, and before we start throwing a lot of charges, we'll check to see how accurate I've got it set up. Alright, it's just a hair over 7 grains. I'm not going to worry about that. Let's see, 357 Magnum, SR 7625. The maximum load is 7.5, and right now I think I'm probably at 7.2, I'm going to guess. Yeah, it's real close to 7.2. So we're not in any problem there. And so that we know that that's correct, we can now begin throwing the charges. Now, I'll only throw the first 5 live, and the rest I'll do offline to save time. Alright, the last step is seating the bullets. Now I will do a final check on each charged casing to make sure that I haven't double charged it for any reason whatsoever. Those all look good. The bullets that we'll be using are Hornady XTP 38 caliber, .357, 125 grain hollow points. Now again, you have to make sure that on your seating die you have that spacer ring in there. Otherwise you'll seat that bullet way too deep. Now, as you can see, there we go. There's a good crimp all the way around the bullet. It's about halfway into the cannelure. All right. Now, cannelure is a French word, and it basically means, in firearms, it means a ridge around the bullet. So, on this bullet here, there we go. That's a slight recess in the bullet all the way around that your casing will be crimped into. Alright, so now we've completed loading 40 rounds of .357 Magnum. I've checked each one of the casings, each step of the operation. I've checked everything carefully, make sure that everything is good to go. The .357 Magnum was the first Magnum handgun cartridge ever created. It's fantastic for home defense, and with the right bullet and load combination, you can even use it for deer. So I hope that you've enjoyed this, and we'll see about going out to the range and shooting this ammunition and showing it to you in action. Till then, take care.
Freedom buried in the ground. Mother Earth will swallow you. Lay your body down.